So, the topic of this video is about impending doom. I feel like my generation and even generations before this and after this are always feeling a sense of impending doom. I didn't know what that was at the time. It led me down, a path of addiction, a path of wanting others' approval, seeking validation. Basically, I was sidestepping the truth, always. And I feel like a lot of people feel this, but they don't really talk about it. They don't really understand what it is. It's probably the reason a lot of people can't sleep. A reason that a lot of people lash out on others and then feel even worse after. Impending doom is just the irrational feeling that something bad is going to happen in the near future or in the distant future. It's the same feeling that causes people to feel like they're a fraud or they're not meant to be what they're supposed to be doing. And in some cases, that may be true. However, I've, as I've grown older and I went through my own suffering, I've sort of realized what is the source of impending doom. And I've also figured out a way to beat it. I figured out a way where I can not feel it. Just a little context. Um, I used to work in consulting for a company called Deloitte back in 2023. I worked there for a couple of years. It was good pay and it was great benefits. It was the job that my parents could kind of brag to other parents about, so they felt validated. On the surface, I would always just feel like there's a prestige attached to the name, so I had felt a sense of ego just based off of that. And in a way, I would kind of, I would be hopeful if someone asked me what I did, because the first reaction is, oh wow, that's a great company to work for, amazing. I'd get that sense of approval from others. It truly wore on me. It wasn't the first few months or even like 6 months. I was working under people that I felt had a true sense of wanting the best for me, and I knew that it was obvious to me that some of the people were giving me advice and they wanted me to, in a way, come up. And that's the fantastic thing in this world, is that some people are extremely positive and they're looking for ways to bring others up. In my opinion, that's true greatness, really, is to inspire others to change or inspire others to get better, not at the cost of your own self. But towards the end of my position at Deloitte in consulting, I was just working like a dog. I was working like a dog. They had me working like from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mind you, I had breaks during the day, but I had meetings from early on in the day, first thing in the morning. So 5 a.m. I had to wake up around 4:30 and prep for the meeting, make sure I knew what I was talking about. I couldn't sound like a dumbass, Not that I'm not, but up until 9 p.m., I would say my last meeting was. And since they're international clients, they can even hit you up while you're sleeping. And that sense of kind of enslavement really rubbed me the wrong way. It rubbed my soul the wrong way, for real. And at that time, I was also dating my ex-girlfriend, my only girlfriend, really. We We dated since I was 16 years old. I'm 28 now. She's American, so she's white, and my parents never really accepted her. So it was a combination of that and partly my mistakes too in the relationship, which and my hesitancy to go about things, and the issues that I had mentally and internally that caused us to end up. She ended up leaving me because of combination of all these things. I remember towards the end of the relationship, I was pretty much every single night I was numbing my mind with either alcohol or pretty much just alcohol really, but I would have 3 screens open all at the same time. Literally, I would have 2K open. For those of you that aren't gamers, it's basically a basketball game on the PS5. And I would have Netflix open, and I would have my phone open, all 3 at the same time, constantly stimulated, but not really focusing on anything, not really giving anything my attention. I was trying to flood my brain with so much dopamine constantly because I just didn't want to feel life anymore. I didn't want to be a part of reality. And that's the truth. I isolated at the time. It was a really, really difficult time for me mentally. And I would always feel a sense of doom for the future. Absolute dreaded doom, as if I was going to die tomorrow. But the big joke is that all my life while I've been feeling this doom, I've always found a way to make it through. I've always found a way to make it through. And I feel like every single person that feels the same sort of doom or same sort of sabotaging belief finds a way to make it through, but they reduce who they could be by the negative belief, by the negative thinking. So a little bit more on the impending doom aspect though. I think impending doom, just think of it like an alcoholic feeling hangover anxiety on the Sunday scaries, but much more encompassing. I'm speaking about the addiction to dopamine. I think dopamine has been weaponized in our world, and we were not meant to constantly need pleasure and reward. We're not meant for that, and I believe that we've been made into rats in a way, not literally, but in a way where we constantly need to flood our brain with dopamine, or we start to get the Sunday scaries. We start to feel like something is about to go wrong. And that's where our brain tricks us into thinking that we need more of the pleasure that we've been getting. But realistically, all the instant gratification leads to fear. Delayed gratification, where you do something worthwhile that you consider as a challenge of yourself, of your neural capacity, of your body, whatever the case may be, a creative endeavor, physicality, physical exercise. That's what I love to do, is physical exercise to silence my mind. The more I just did that, the more I got into that zone of discomfort is when these feelings went away. So for me, that is what worked. And everything that feels good instantly, where you don't have to sort of put some effort in to achieve that pleasure, always leads to a sense of fear. Always. In the back of your mind, you know you're not living up to what you could be, because it takes a lot of effort. It takes time put in. It takes facing challenges head on. It takes facing fear head on. Either way, you're going to feel some sort of fear. Why don't you feel fear first? and conquer it and get the pleasure after, your mind will be much more clear. And I say that I feel like a testament for that, because there are some times where I just don't even have any sort of monologue thinking. I'm much more receptive to information. I can critical think. Uh, I was going to say at a better rate, but I wasn't doing any critical thinking before. I was just existing and being depressed. Our generation is riddled with people that feel anxious, and they don't have to be diagnosed for it. It's, it comes up when you can't sleep, when your mind is racing, your mind is going in 5 different directions. You can't read more than a paragraph. You can't focus on anything. You interrupt people constantly while they're talking. All of these things are signs of anxiety, even if it is mild. I found a lot of fulfillment in confronting fear, confronting it, even if I don't know how exactly to do it or what to do. I found a lot of belief in myself as I kept confronting my fear, as I kept walking into cold water, as I kept doing exercises I didn't know, as I kept, talking to people that I've never met before, just starting a conversation. Because a lot of this being in your head and constant addiction to dopamine results in people being isolated, people not having a mind that can produce thoughts in a linear manner. It's always going side to side. It's not building upon ideas. We don't feel like we're connecting with others because it's very difficult to when your mind is racing or your mind doesn't know how to keep on the same thought. In all reality, we could be learning so much from each other. But people these days are much more isolated than they have ever been. And the tactics that are used to, if you will, enslave people into this thinking have only gotten better over time, especially with technology. It's increased the mental stimulation. Not meant to process that much information every single night, all the time. It prevents us from thinking true thought. It isolates us from the people closest to us. It's ruining families. It stops us from truly connecting we are, I'm a huge fan of Marcus Aurelius. He's kind of the guy that saved my life after my ex and I split. And at the time, I'd lost my job, crashed my car, all this, a ton of suffering that I went through. I'm grateful to be alive, by the way. But he looks at humanity as in such a positive light. He looks at humanity as family. Like, people are family. We really are. We share so many of the same emotions. So there's no reason to isolate, because if we get out of our own head, we can actually all relate to each other, and we can learn from each other every single day. Speaking to people and conquering your fears, doing things that, because at the end of the day, most of these fears are fucking irrational. They are extremely irrational, things that they do not matter in the long term. And the more you shy away from those opportunities, the less you believe in yourself. And the less you believe in yourself, the more noise, the more clutter, the more baggage that you have to carry. The stronger we are, the stronger mentally we are, the easier life is. If someone is not in control of their own mind and the way their thoughts progress and their ability to carry out what they want, and I'm not even saying you have to be an immediate success. It might take time, but there's beauty in that. There's beauty in the process. But if they can't control what goes on in their head, their mind, their breath, they'll resort to controlling things outside of them, whether that be people, whether that be a yearning for wealth, whether that be anything outside of them that makes them feel like they know what they're doing, because they can't get a stillness of mind, a calmness. Enslaving others is really not the way. You have to find a way to make your brain submit. So the brain is a powerful tool. It's an extremely powerful tool. And it's meant to be used. It's not meant to enslave others by force, by manipulation. These things don't make us powerful at all. They make us extremely weak because we look for the validation of others for our own happiness. I know there's a couple different topics, but I feel like they're all in the same wheelhouse, if you will. Either way, I'm blessed and grateful to be alive. I don't have things figured out whatsoever, but I don't fear. Let me step back on that. That's not true. Sometimes I do fear. But I try to work on it all the time. And I know that those are irrational fears. They're not real. I create them. I make them up in my mind. Anything supposedly bad that happens, most people double or triple or quadruple the pain that they should be feeling. And yeah, I'll still stand by the fact that the way to attack that impending feeling of doom that many face is to be honest with yourself and do hard things. Use your creativity, use your body, use your mind for things that produce dopamine only after effort. And the more you prove yourself, the more trust you have in yourself, the more confidence you have. We really don't have to live like shit. Like, we don't. It's not needed. Like, we can live a happy and fulfilled life. And mind you, that doesn't mean all the time. It means that it's a battle. It's a battle against irrational fear. It's a battle to be mentally strong. I hope you enjoyed my first video.